Hello students, welcome back to the class. We are learning about regionalism and its concept and its form. There are various forms of regionalism. In the last class we have discussed what is the definition, form. Again we are repeating the same points. We know that according to the S.R. Maheshwari, what is meant by regionalism means a particular territory. A particular territory will be considered as a region when it contains different variables in the form of different degree. Whenever a particular territory, when it contains different topography, when it contains different religion, when it contains different languages, when it is finding the historical traditions, so that particular territory will be called as region. Okay, that is one point. Next we will go forward. When you are going forward, we already know that regionalism in India can be expressed in the various forms. We have seen the first important form of regionalism is secession from Indian Union. Secession is nothing but if one state chooses to exit, forced to exit, or if one state loses the control over the other territory of the country, that is called as, that is one form of regionalism. Whenever there is a demand which is going on for the statehood, separate state, then that is also a form of regionalism. Particularly we seen that 1970 the Punjab and northeastern parts, they demanded that they wanted to be separate from the Indian territory. So whenever the separate statehood is going on, when the demand for the separate statehood is going on, so that is also one form of regionalism. Now if there is a demand for the regional autonomy in the state, suppose if there is a demand which is going on for the regional autonomy, independent, so that is also a form of regionalism. Or inter-state disputes. So if there is a problem between one state to another state. Okay, recently we know that children's Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, they have disputes regarding the water. Water disputes are common. So if there is a major disputes, okay, water can become the major in the future. So if there is a growing disputes between any states, two states, then that is also one form of regionalism. Aggressive regionalism is one of the important concepts in which we have discussed that if a regions have brought upon one region and if they have hatred towards other region, then that form of concept is called aggressive regionalism. Every region should have brought upon their region, but they never hates other regions also. Every regions, all the regions should be respected. But if you have a great respect towards your region and if you look down or if you have hatred regarding other region, so that is called as aggressive regionalism. That concept is called as aggressive regionalism. Respect upon the country or region is very important and very good also. But in presence of respect, we should not hate other religion or we should not hate other region, we should not hate other language, we should not hate other country also. So that type of feeling promotes the concept which is called as aggressive regionalism. Already in the previous classes we have studied that what is the concept of regionalism. Regionalism during the post-independent period after 1960, many countries have demanded a separate country within the country. So many states have demanded, were demanded separation. So first was DMK party from Tamil Nadu have demanded separate within India. Punjab also the demand is going on, so they also demanded the separate state should be formed within the India. And northeastern parts like Mizoram and Nagaland, the growing demand is going on for the separation. So whenever the particular region is separated from the part, when the demand is going on from the separate from India, that is a form of regionalism. Regionalism, one more form is if separation is done within the part of India or outside the part of India, both separation can be considered as regionalism only. If a particular region separates out of the country or separates within the internal part, so that comes under the part of regionalism only. Now here if you see the regionalism can also express and now various demands. Now we already seen that in the last point we have discussed that if one regions wanted to demand separation from the country or within the country, if they wanted to separate, okay, if the demand is going on to separate a particular region from the state, so that concept is called regionalism. In the last class we have discussed that Bombay presidency was very big part, but there was a demand which is going on in India to separate Maharashtra and Gujarat and that is why the two separate states were formed within the part of India. So that is also comes under the part of regionalism. Similarly, we have seen that Punjab was a very big part. So Punjab was separated into East Punjab and West Punjab. East Punjab was under the control of our neighboring country. West Punjab is included in India. From the West Punjab again two parts were divided, Punjab and Haryana. Even though that parts are included in India, when you are separating any part within the country also, that is also one concept of regionalism only. Now, regionalism also expressed a demand of particular regions autonomy within the state. Within the state also, when any particular regions are demanding independent within the state, so that is also comes under the regionalism concept. So whenever the states are demanding particular independence within the state, so that comes under the concept of regionalism. And that is why if you see that there are people in Ladakh, okay, people who are belongs to Ladakh in Jammu and Kashmir, they lies in the which part of Ladakh? They lies in eastern part of Ladakh. Okay, so they lies in eastern part of Ladakh. So that is one point. Okay, so if you see that Ladakh, people in Ladakh we can find there are parts of Jammu and Kashmir we can find. So even Adivasis also in the Kashmir, they also demanded that regional development council should be set up. So this regional development councils is very very important. It will promote autonomy in the regional level. Okay, this is one point. So similarly the demand is going on because many regional peoples are demanding, people of Ladakh and Adivasis, when the demand is going on from the regional level, they demanded that a separate regional council development should be set up. They will protect the interest of particular region. Even though when formation of Andhra Pradesh have taken places, during that period of time there was a regional development council. What is the main aim of regional development council is to see that whether the interest is not affecting for a particular region or not. Regional development council's main aim is to promote the development among all the regions equally. So that is the main aim of regional development council. So here in Jammu and Kashmir, the people who stays in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir, they demanded that separate regional councils development should be set up. So on the demand of Ladakh and on the demand of Adivasis, the central government have developed regional development councils. This regional development council's main aim is to see the interest of particular people. Okay, this is one point. Okay, so next we have seen. Okay, next we will go forward. At the same time, there are many forces of regionalism that can be expressed in the form of interstate disputes. Sometimes regionalism can be expressed in the form of central and state disputes. So that is also one form of regionalism. Now, other form of regionalism is, if you see dimensions in the presence of militants. Whenever there is a presence of militants, okay, that is also one form of regionalism. If the areas are completely filled with violent and aggressions, that is filled with regionalism. So we know that there are many areas, there are some few areas we can find. So the presence of militants, okay, are taking places, or if the atmosphere is quietly violent and aggressions, so that is also one form of regionalism we can find. If you see that many important organizations were set up like Shiva Sena, Tamil Sena, Hindu Sena, Anti-Hindu Sena, all this promotes the concept of regionalism. So this is also promoting aggressively the regional interest. So this is also one form. So that is one part. So if you have any doubts, children, whenever what we have to do is just if you wanted to see the directions, so directions are very important, east to west. Okay, I will go forward now. What we have discussed here, regionalisms and the various forms of regionalism. Once again, we know that in India regionalism was expressed in various forms, secession from Indian Union. So whenever any state ceases to force to exit, or when the state loses control over the other territories, then that is a form of regionalism. When the demand is going on for the separate statehood, that is also one form of regionalism. When the demand is going on for the particular regional autonomy or regional independence, that is also one form of regionalism we can find. If there is interstate disputes, if there is a problem between the central and state level or within the different states, that is also one form of regionalism. If aggressive regionalism is there, that is the best form of regionalism. Aggressive regionalism means a region which have proud upon the country. If they have hatation towards other region, then that is called as aggressive regionalism. Already in the previous classes we have seen during the post-independent period there was a growing demand for the separate state. Okay, particularly DMK party in Tamil Nadu, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam demanded a separate state of Tamil within the India, out of the country. They wanted to make Tamil state. And there is a growing demand which is going on in Tamil Nadu since from 1960s. On the other hand, Punjab also, if you see the Punjab, already I said you, when Punjab was divided it was nearly two parts. Okay, imagine that these are the two parts. So this is called West Punjab and East Punjab. East Punjab was under the control of India, West Punjab was under the control of Pakistan. So before when I explained, without direction I am explaining, now with direction I am explaining. Punjab was divided into two parts, one is called West Punjab, East Punjab. East Punjab was considered as a part of India, West Punjab was given to Pakistan, our neighbouring country, and from East Punjab again the Punjab was divided into two parts, one is called Haryana and one is called as Punjab. So whatever the regions are divided, that is also one form of regionalism. So previously the Punjab have demanded the separate state out of the country. So during the post independent period there are many states have demanded separate state out of the country. So that is also one form of regionalism. Next I will go forward. Regionalism also expresses that there is a demand, if any people are demanding the regional independence within the states, if they are demanding separate independence and separate autonomy within the states, so that is also a part of regionalism we can find. Laws state that all the people are equal and all the states are equal in front of law. So when any states are demanding separate independence, then that is a form of regionalism. Similarly, the people of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir, they demanded that to protect the interest of regional community, they should set up some regional development council. So after that the parliament have set up the regional development council. These councils are set up in few states to see that the regional interest should not be affected. Okay, this is very important. Forces of regionalisms can be expressed in the form of interstate disputes. Now dimensions, if you see, if there is a presence of militants, if the terrorist activities are going on, or if the activities are quite violent and aggression, so that is also one form of regionalism. Similarly, we can find various organizations like Shiva Sena, Tamil Sena, Hindu Sena, Anti-Hindu Sena, like that various organizations were set up. These organizations aggressively they will promote the regional interest among all the points. So from this point what we have understand? We have understand that first we have discussed about region. Region is nothing but a territory which contain different variables, different degrees as well as different variable. If it contain languages, customs, traditions, culture, okay, that is a form of, then we can say that particular territory has a region. And also we have discussed various things we have discussed in that point. Okay, we have regionalisms can be in the form of two forms, positive aspects as well as one is called as negative aspects of regionalism. Then we have discussed that okay, what is the concept of regionalism? Whenever a particular territory, when a particular territory, when they demanded cessions from separate state out of the country, then that is also one form of regionalism. When a particular states have demanded separate state within the country, then that is also form of regionalism. Similarly, to protect the interest of regional communities, Indian government decided to set up the Regional Development Council. So these regional development councils are very important because they will try to promote the interest of regional level. Okay, before when Andhra Pradesh was formation, Andhra Pradesh we know that is the first state which was formed on the basis of language. So there was a development of Regional Development Council. So not only in Andhra Pradesh but also there are many states, these regional development councils were set up to protect and to promote the interest of regional level. Their interest should not affect. Okay, to protect their interest, regional development councils has been set up. Overall, you can find there are various organizations like Shiva Sena. Okay, there are some organizations like Tamil Sena, Hindu Sena, Anti-Hindu Sena. These are aggressively promoting the regional interest. So these organizations are aggressively They are promoting the regional interests. So that is also one form of regionalism. Okay. So children, these are the various forms of regionalism we have discussed in the point. Okay, we will meet you in the next class. We will discuss with a new topic. Thank you very much.